Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so today we actually have very exciting Alliance War video because we're going up against for Loki. So basically the vast majority of the largest content creators have grouped up in a single alliance for Loki, and they are very formidable alliance. We have lost against them a couple of times. We have won against them a bunch of times, but it's always kind of like a very hard war. So we were actually quite well, not excited, but we knew it's going to be a tight war, which quite honestly, and this is by no means a disrespect to the opponents, it wasn't. It just happened so that quite early on in the war, it could be something to do with Thanksgiving, I suppose, but it's not like our players don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Basically, we just got an early lead and we maintained an early lead, so it wasn't as stressful, as close, as tight as I kind of expected it to be. They gave up a whole bunch of deaths quite early on. I think they died first within like 10 fights, and by the time I woke up they were already at like 10. And yeah, that definitely helped the war to be significantly easier. So I will still boost. I don't want to obviously give away any deaths on my side, and I'm gonna be on path 1 and 1. They are kind of like my typical path to go. My first fight is against this Elsa Bloodstone. We did make sure that there are no Suicide Masteries involved, and since there were not, Warlock was a safe option. And I did make a couple of mistakes here, but Elsa is not the hardest hitting defender, and unless she's on like a boss or a mini boss node, even if you slip up like I did, quite embarrassingly, it's still not that much of an issue. The next fight is Symbiote Supreme, and it's a Mystic Champion on Masochism node, but still it's a Mystic Champion. So Human Torch is going to do an absolutely phenomenal job. And this fight can be tricky occasionally, but for most part there aren't too many things to worry about. I actually have a very dodgy domino fight in the next war video coming up, but here we can see that Human Torch is at 12 smolders already. He has like 9 Nova Flames on him, 14 smolders, a bunch of Nova Flames, and yeah, he just burned down extremely quickly. That is a rank 3 6-star Human Torch, so very quick and easy fight. Now we're gonna be going on to section 2, and section 2, it's obviously the next day already, significantly later in the war. We can see by the clock that there are only about 6 hours left. I'm gonna be going up against the Mysterio, and I could easily use Quake for this fight, and I have done in past, but more recently I have been enjoying a very specific sort of trick with Warlock. And the whole base point idea there is that I will simply not let Mysterio drop a single special attack. And the way to achieve that is just you need to land a bunch of parries early on. And I'm actually going to move my camera at the side so you guys can see the power bar. As well, you can see that he isn't getting it quite. You kind of can see, I think, at the bottom of the screen. You should be able to notice that. I think if I move this a bit slower as well, there you go, this should be a bit better. And we can see that as soon as he gets close to a power bar, I just slow play it a bit. I parry extra time, that plays a debuff, that triggers willpower heal, he loses more power, and effectively I spent entire fight, the entire thing, without a Mysterio ever so much as dropping a special attack, which I absolutely loved. I enjoyed that, and I like playing Warlock that way in Alliance War. It just makes fights so much secure, so much safe, and just takes away a lot of hassle to deal with. But with that, we do need to move on to the next fight, which is Black Widow Deadly Origins. Now, I think I do slip up here at some point, a slight amount. This is going to be another Warlock fight. It's a buffet node, so Warlock's infection that prevents all healing is basically like passive heal block, is pretty much perfect for this, and it's definitely going to be extremely useful. And I'm going to try and use pretty much the same tactic here. I'm going to try and basically prevent her from activating any special attacks saying try. I think I, at some point, if I remember correctly, will abandon that strategy when I'm going to get cornered and miss a parry. I do think I will eat a couple of hits in this fight. Maybe not, but I'm quite sure that I do mess up a slight amount somewhere. But first half of the fight, as we can see, that she's absolutely melting. And here I mess up. That level 2 whiffed because I dropped a medium attack. I actually want to rewind here a bit. So we can see that I go in. So we're going to watch it again, right? I dropped a medium attack. And level 2 whiffs. And that was super annoying. Obviously, I do not die in this fight. I had more than enough health. Warlock is a 6-star rank 3, and he took the punch like a champ and will be good enough to finish out the fight. But that whiff on the level 2, when it happens, is just so annoying sometimes. The whole point of throwing that medium attack was kind of to get my combo started, and then you just end up whiffing. And it actually does cost me some potions. As we can see, I hardly have any potions left, so I'll just end up using my units for these potions. And yeah, that definitely annoyed me, especially because this was already a war that was pretty much won at that point, but I still don't want to die. I still want to do everything I can. And it's just a waste of resources, waste of units. And once again, for the third fight in a row, pretty much, we're going to see how Warlock abuses that power drain mechanic. And I think this pretty much is one of the main reasons why Warlock is up there with the best Alliance War attackers. Because immune, he can place T-buffs, he can make sure opponents never throw a special attack, or hardly ever. And it's just great. It's so good and so handy. And at some point next week, I will try to upload an updated Alliance War meta list where I have still kept tracking all of the champions being used for Alliance War offense. But yeah, we can see that also SpiderMan is absolutely melting away. Not much chance there at all for him to do anything. It's a very, very simple, straightforward fight. And with that, my path is clear. And there are several mini-boss already taken. I will have a mini-boss fight. But we will not be doing this mini-boss fight up until such time as the boss has been taken down. So we can see that we have already taken down pretty much everything. I'm going to be doing the last fight of the map. And the reason for doing it this way is because once you defeat the boss, then the global node goes away. We can see that he still has Hazard Shift, Incinerate Poison, Stun Immunity, but there's no Stubborn. So that means that I can fully evade anything that I want to evade, and I can play Quake as freely, as simply as I want to. Now, obviously, Hulkbuster is a very, very chunky lad, and it's a mini-boss, and it's stun immune. So this fight does end up taking a bit. We can see that first set of aftershocks didn't really deal all that much damage. But it's very safe. I'm still at full yellow bar here at this point, and that's kind of like the game that I typically like to play with Quake in my head. I want to see if I can finish the fights with full yellow bar in any fight where I have decided to go for full deck style. And in past I have actually had wars where I use Quake in like 6, 7, 8 fights and still finish with a full yellow bar. And that's just so satisfactory. Like, it just gives you a huge sense of satisfaction. And a minute in, that Hulkbuster is on 55%. And if it wouldn't be for 5-minute timers, maybe I'd be slightly worried. But then I'd probably just put on Suicide Mass Race. But with 5-minute timers using Quake, you have pretty much no fear of ever timing out at the moment as well. And that helps. That helps to feel more relaxed, more free. And as I said, at this point, the war was long won already. So ASR is doing absolutely fantastic. And we are currently battling for the first place in Masters bracket. And if we do manage to finish season in first, that would be absolutely amazing. I would be very, very happy, very, very proud for ASR and everybody fighting these Alliance Wars. Because Alliance War, for a while, it kind of dropped off for me. I didn't find it as fun, but since I joined back into the ASR, and ASR have been actively pushing for top 3, and there have been significant changes in Alliance War, I think I definitely enjoyed a lot more than I did like half a year ago or 8 months ago or something. But yeah, that is pretty much it here for today's video, and this fight is also almost over. I will take a look at like how the war ends. I didn't take the final screenshot, but this is quite close towards the end. So good war for Loki, and they are always a tough opponent. I think they just had like relatively bad war with a lot of early deaths, but they definitely are very consistent and are always quite up there. So there are a ton of content creators, and it would be impossible to shout out all of them. Clearly now the bigger ones, but yeah. So go check out, type in for Loki versus ASR in YouTube search chat, and you can find a bunch of videos, because I'm sure they will be uploaded. Other than that, again, very proud of ASR. So far, we have had one stupid death in Alliance War that I wasn't even supposed to take. Aside from that, we have been having a good season as well. Plenty of fun, tricky, difficult fights. Only one death, which still stings, but yeah. So that will do for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and if you have, then you know what to do. I'm not even gonna tell you, but see ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the